I was working in Kumasi at a shop as an attendant, selling provisions. The work was long, the pay was small, but I had a dream. I was saving every single cedi I could to start my own small business, selling hair products and extensions. For 2 years, I saved. No new clothes, no parties, just work and save. My money was hidden in a small box under my bed. 8,000 cedis. It was my future. Then my big brother Kwame came home from Accra. Kwame was the family star, the one who went to the big city to make it big. He arrived with new clothes, a fancy phone, and big stories. He talked about different opportunities. We were all so impressed. One night after dinner, he pulled me aside. He put his arm around me and whispered, "Sis, I have an unmissable opportunity. A new delivery app that is going to change Ghana. The founders are my friends. I can get you in." My heart was beating so fast. This was it. Our chance. He leaned in closer. This is our chance to escape poverty for good. Don't tell mommy yet. Let us surprise her when we are rich. I should have known then, the secrecy, the big promises. But I was blinded by the hope he was selling. I saw my hair business, but bigger, better. I saw us finally making our family proud. I didn't know I was about to hand my future to a liar. The next day, Kwame gave me the full pitch. He had charts drawn on paper, talking about returns on investments and market disruption, words I didn't fully understand, but sounded so impressive. "Essie, just lend me your savings, okay?" he begged. "How much have you saved so far?" I hesitated and said 8,000 cedis. "I promise you," he said, "I will triple it in 3 months. Triple. You can start your business with over 20,000 cedis. You will be a boss lady." My stomach was in knots. This was all my money, every single cent. But triple in 3 months. I imagined a proper shop. I imagined hiring someone to help me. I was so nervous, but it was my brother, my own flesh and blood. Who was I supposed to trust if not him? With shaking hands, I went to my room, pulled the box from under my bed, and handed him all of it, all of my dreams in cash, in his hands. He hugged me tight. "You won't regret this, little sis, I promise." Later, I was sitting outside when my grandma, who has been watching us all this while, shuffled over. She asked me about the money, and I told her. She went quiet for a moment and said, "Your brother loves quick money. Why don't you just do it your way? Quick money is not always the solution. Are you sure you know what you are doing?" I nodded. Kwame is my brother. He only wants the best for me. And he's giving me triple the money in 3 months. That was a good deal. Kwame will never hurt me like that. He wants the best for me. My grandma looked into the distance for a while and said, "I hope everything works out for both of you." And then she walked away. Oh, how wrong I was. I should have listened to her. But at the time, I didn't know my own blood brother was hiding secrets that would drag me to the edge of everything and would turn my entire life into a nightmare. Welcome back to my channel, babe, and I hope you are doing great today. If you are new here, I'm Vera, but you can call me V. And I share real life stories that will shock you, amaze you, inspire you, break your heart, and sometimes make you laugh. So if this is something you love, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Joyce Bennett 652, Eva for real, and Sweetly D86. They were the first people to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babes. I love you. And without any further delay, let's continue the story. For the first few weeks, Kwame will call me with updates. Everything is moving, says. The app is almost ready. Then the calls became less frequent. Then they stopped. 2 months passed. My calls to him went straight to voicemail. My messages were left unread. I started to feel sick with fear. My friends started asking, "Hey, when are you starting your business?" I thought I was getting the money soon, so I had been bragging about opening my shop soon. I began to lie. "Oh, I am still saving," or "I am just finalizing my plans." I was too ashamed to tell them the truth. Then the whisper started. At church, I saw people looking at me and talking quietly. One woman came up to me and said, "My daughter saw your brother in Accra at a big club. He was wearing very expensive clothes and shoes and buying drinks for everyone. I guess your brother has made it big." Oh. My heart dropped into my stomach. My money. He was spending my money on a good time. I ran home and tried his number again. Nothing. I was panicking. Just as I was about to cry, my phone buzzed. A text message from Kwame's number. My hands were shaking as I opened it. It wasn't a long message. It was short and cold. "Forget the money. It is gone. Don't call me again." What? I read it again and again. I couldn't believe it. It felt like a dream, a bad dream. My own brother. He stole from me and then he told me to forget it. I went to work the next day like a zombie. I couldn't think. I couldn't focus. My manager asked if I was sick. I just nodded. I made a mistake with the customer's change. She started shouting at me, calling me stupid. And right there, in the middle of the shop, everything went black. I fainted. When I woke up, my co-worker was fanning me. Let's call her Amma. She was a good person. I broke down and told her everything. I told her about the money, the investments, the text message. I had to tell someone. I didn't know another co-worker was listening. Our community was small and news traveled faster than light. By the next day, everyone knew. My own brother had scammed me. Everyone was talking about it. My own relatives called me. Instead of comforting me, they shamed me. How could you be so foolish? Why would you give your entire savings to your brother? One even looked me in the eye and said, "I always knew you were not smart." Hey, me that I was the victim. I was the one being punished. I was so humiliated, I couldn't even leave my house. I thought about quitting my job and just disappearing. I told my mom about it, and the only thing she said was that Kwame is still my brother. She asked me to forgive him and that God will provide. I was feeling completely hopeless. I opened Facebook and there he was, Kwame. His profile picture had changed. It was a photo of him, smiling like a king, leaning against a flashy, expensive-looking car. And next to him, with a arm around him, was a much older woman I had never seen before. She was dressed in expensive clothes and gold jewelry. He wasn't just hiding. He was living a new life with my money. After the text, the whispers, and the public humiliation, the final blow came. My landlord knocked on my door. "The rent, where is it?" he said. "You said you would have it last week. I have my own bills to pay." Oh. I begged him for more time, my voice shaking, tears of shame welling in my eyes. I told him my brother had stolen from me. He listened, but he just shook his head. "I am sorry for your trouble, but sorry does not pay the light bill. You have until tomorrow." The next day, I came home from my shift to find my few belongings sitting outside my room. The lock was changed. I was thrown out, officially homeless. The weight of it all crushed me. I sat on my suitcase right there in the hallway and sobbed. Where could I go? I couldn't face my family. Not after the shame. Not after they had told me I was a fool. There was only one person I could call. My co-worker, Amma. The one I had confided in. I called her, crying so hard I could barely speak. "Amma, my landlord." He threw my things out. "I have nowhere." Before I could even finish speaking, she asked, "Where are you?" "Outside my room." She said, "Stay there. I am coming." She arrived 20 minutes later in a trotro. She didn't give me a long speech. She just picked up my suitcase. "Come," she said, "you will stay with me." But Amma lived with her family in a small crowded house. There was no room. So she took me to her mother's kiosk, a tiny wooden structure where they sold snacks and credits. "It is not much," she said, handing me a blanket. "But it is dry and it is safe. You can sleep here." I cried again, but this time from gratitude. In my darkest moments, Amma was my lifeline. She brought me food from her house. She covered for me at work. She gave me a place to hide and break down without judgment. A few days later, while I was helping Ame's mother sort goods in the kiosk, my phone rang. It was my cousin. We weren't close, but he was a good man. I heard what happened. He said, "I am sorry. That was an evil thing Kwame did." We talked for a minute, and then he said the words that killed the last bit of hope I had. I called someone I know in Accra to ask about him, to see if you could get your money. He's gone, oh. Gone where? I asked, my heart starting to pound. Lagos, he ran to Nigeria. The word is that the people he stole from are not just like you. They are big men. They are angry. He is running from road trouble, police trouble. I thanked him and hung up. I looked around the tiny dark kiosk, at the boxes of goods, at the mat on the floor that was now my bed. Lagos, police trouble. My brother was in another country, running from the law, and I was left behind, sleeping on the kiosk floor, with nothing but consequences. The dream was truly over. There was no getting the money back. I had to face the fact that I had to start from below nothing. After the call with my cousin, I felt empty. The hope of getting my money back was gone. Kwame was in another country, and my 8,000 cedis was gone with him. I sat on the floor of that kiosk that night, and I let myself feel it all. The anger, the betrayal, the hopelessness. But the next morning, something changed. The sadness turned into something else, a cold, hard determination. Kwame had taken my money, but he would not take my future. I refused to let him win. I decided I would not give up. It was a simple decision, but the work was hell. I had my job at the shop, but my hours had been cut, so I begged my manager for more shifts. I told him I would work any shift, anytime. I started opening the shop at 5 a.m. and closing at 10 p.m. I was the first one day and the last to leave. It wasn't enough, so I got a second job. In the few hours I had between shifts, I started helping a caterer nearby. I washed giant pots, chopped onions until my eyes burned, and cleaned up after events. My hands were always sore. My body ached all over. On weekends, I took a third job. I helped a woman in my area wash clothes by hand for a small fee. It was back-breaking job, scrubbing and wringing out heavy jeans and sheets in the hot sun. I was working 3 jobs. I was always tired. I was always hungry. But every single CD I made, I saved. I didn't buy new clothes. I didn't buy takeaway. I ate 1 solid meal a day, usually from the caterer I worked for. The rest of the money went into a new hiding place, deep in my suitcase. All the while, I was still sleeping on the floor of Ahmed's mother's kiosk. I will never be able to repay their kindness. They never charged me a peswa. They gave me a safe place to sleep, and that was everything. The hardest part was lying to my mom. She would call, her voice always full of worry. First, she was worried about Kwame. She would ask me if I have heard from him. No one knows where he is. I can't sleep. I would tell her no, I hadn't, and tell her not to worry, that it would be fine. Then she would ask about me. What about you? How are you doing? Do you need anything? My heart would break. I wanted to tell her I was sleeping on the kiosk floor. I wanted to tell her I was working myself to death. But I couldn't. She had enough pain. So I lied. I put a smile in my voice. I am fine, Mama. I am doing well. Work is good. Don't worry about me. I will tell her small happy stories about customers at the shop. I built a whole happy life for her over the phone, while my real life was a cycle of work and exhaustion. This went on for almost a year. A whole year of relentless work and saving. And finally, I had enough. It wasn't 8,000 cedis. It was less. But it was enough for a deposit and a few months' rent for a place of my own. A small place. I found it in a compound house. It was just 1 single room and a shared bathroom outside. But it was mine. It had a lock on the door. It had a roof. The day I moved my suitcase out of the kiosk, I hugged Amma and her mother and I cried. They had saved me. They were my real family. I unlocked the door to my 1 room. It was empty and it was small, but it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I had done it. I had started from below nothing and gotten myself back to 0. I was broke again, but I was home. And this time, I had built it myself. For 2 years, I lived in my 1 room. I kept working my jobs, the shop, the catering, the washing. But now, it was for a new goal. Finally, I had saved enough to try again. Not 8,000 cedis, oh, not a giant dream, but a small careful amount, enough to buy a modest box of hair products, some good quality braiding hair, a few bundles of weave, and a small second-hand suitcase on wheels to carry it all. I was terrified, but I couldn't let the fear win. I had to try. So I began. I created social media pages. I took pictures of my products with my phone. The lighting was bad, but the products were good. I posted every day, but online wasn't enough. I had to be on the ground. After my shifts at the shop, I would go home, grab my wheeled suitcase, and walk from house to house in my neighborhood and the estates nearby. I would knock on gates politely. Good evening, madam. I sell hair products just around here. Good quality, good prices. Do you need anything today? Most times, the answer was no. Sometimes, people would shout at me to go away. But sometimes, a woman would be curious. She would look at what I had. She would feel the hair. And she would buy one thing. Just a pack of hair or a bottle of oil. But it was a sale. It was a start. I was exhausted, working all day, then working for hours with my heavy suitcase, often coming home with just enough profit to buy a little food. It felt like I was barely moving forward. The doubt would creep in. Is this ever going to work? Then one Saturday, I was helping a client install hair she bought for me in her house. She was filming a short video of the hair installation for her TikTok page, just for fun. She posted it. That night, my phone, which was usually so quiet, started pinging, and it didn't stop. The video had blown up. It had thousands of views, hundreds of comments. Who is she? Where in Kumasi is she? People started flooding my social media pages. They were messaging me for appointments. They were asking for my prices. They were asking where to buy the hair I used. I stayed up all night answering messages. My hands were shaking. I couldn't believe it. The next day, I sold out of everything in my suitcase by noon. I had to run to the market to restock. I had to start a waiting list for in-store appointments. The viral video changed everything. My one-room apartment became my office, my storefront, and my saloon. I was working non-stop. The orders kept coming. The in-store appointments were booked weeks in advance. I realized I had outgrown my suitcase and my single room. It was time. I found a small shop space. It was just 4 walls and a roof in a busy market area. I painted it myself. I built the shelves with the help of a carpenter. I was open for business. I was determined to do things differently. I remembered what it was like to have nothing. I remembered a woman like me who wanted to look good but had to count their cedis carefully. So I found a way to source my hair and products directly from the manufacturers. I bought in bigger quantities which brought the price down. I didn't put a huge markup on my products. My prices were fair. My customers couldn't believe it. They would come in expecting one price and leave surprised they could afford extra. But the biggest thing was how I treated people. I had patience. If a customer took an hour to decide between 2 styles, I let her. If a woman came in with crying children, I gave them a small biscuit to calm them down. I listened to their stories. I remembered their names and deliveries. If an older woman or a student couldn't afford the delivery fee, I would do it myself after I closed the shop. I would jump on a trotro with their package, find their house, and hand it to them personally. The look on their faces was worth more than the delivery fee. Slowly, my little shop grew. I hired one assistant, then another. I was no longer just a hustler. I was a business owner. I was in the shop one afternoon, restocking the wig section, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. I usually let those go to voicemail, but something made me answer. Hello, I said. There was a long pause on the other end. Then a voice I hadn't heard in over 3 years. Sis, it is me. It was Kwame. My whole body went cold. The peace I felt just seconds before vanished. My hand tightened around the phone. I didn't say a word. I didn't ask how he got my number. I didn't ask where he was. He started again, his words stumbling out in a rush. I'm back. I'm in Kumasi. I heard about your shop. I'm so sorry for everything. I was a fool. I need to see you. I need to explain. I didn't let him finish. I didn't want to hear his explanations, his excuses, his lies. I pressed the end call button. My hand was shaking. I didn't hesitate. I went straight to my recent calls, found the number, and blocked it immediately. I looked around my shop. It was busy. Two assistants were helping customers. The shelves were full of products I had paid for. The money in the cash register was mine. I had built this without him, despite him. My shop was big now, so big. I was thinking of opening another branch in a different part of the city. I had moved out of my one room and rented a proper nice apartment with running water and a real kitchen. I wasn't taking chores anymore. I was driving my own second-hand Toyota. I was only beginning. My life was finally good. It was stable. I was happy. I did not need his negativity, his chaos, his broken promises anywhere near me. I had worked too hard for my peace. But Kwame had never been good at taking no for an answer. A few days later, I was at the counter, going over some orders when I felt a presence. I looked up, and there he was. He stood there in my shop, looking wretched. He had lost weight. His clothes were clean, but old, and his eyes had a tired, desperate look I had never seen before. This wasn't the proud, smooth-talking Kwame who left with my money. This was a broken man. "Sis, please," he said. "I just need a place to perch for a small time. You know our family house is full. I know you have space. Just to get back on my feet, help me, okay? The last deal went wrong. They lied to me." I didn't say anything. I just watched him, my arms crossed. My heart was pounding, but not from fear, from anger. He must have seen the coldness in my eyes because he kept talking faster now. "But I have bigger plans this time, sis. Better plans. I told you I'll give you triple the last time, right? I will still give you that money and even double it. This one can't fail. We can do it together. A real partnership. You handle the money. I will handle the connections. We can be rich for real this time." He was doing it again. That is when I snapped. "Get out," I said. He blinked, surprised. "Sis, please, get out of my shop," I repeated, louder this time. I pointed at the door. "Now, and don't you ever come back here. Don't call me. Don't come near me again. We are not family. You ended that when you stole from me and left me to sleep on the floor." His face changed and the desperation vanished. He laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Look at you. Look how proud you have become. That small money has really changed you, eh? You have a small car and a small shop, and now you are too pompous to help your own brother." I didn't flinch. "You didn't want to help me when I had nothing. You stole from me. You left me with nothing. Get out." He finally left, muttering curses under his breath. But that wasn't the end of it. The call started that evening. First, it was my mom. She was crying. "Is your brother? He said he's sorry. Whatever happened, let bygones be bygones. Family is family. How can you see him suffering and not help? Are you not a Christian? Don't you know how to forgive? We are one in this family. Forgive your brother." Then my aunties, my uncles, cousins, all with the same message. "Money has changed you. You have a hard heart now. How can you be so successful and let your own brother be a beggar? He has nowhere to sleep and you have plenty space in your house. Help him. Who will help you if not family?" They don't remember the eviction. They don't remember the kiosk floor. They don't remember the 3 jobs and the hunger. They just see me now with my car and my shop, and they see him broke and sorry and homeless, and they think I am the villain for not forgetting. So I am asking you, after everything, am I the asshole for saying no, for protecting the life I built with my own hands, for refusing to let the man who destroyed me once come back to do it again? Am I the asshole in this situation? Babe, don't mind him. You are doing the right thing. Protect your peace. You built this life from nothing without him. No is a full sentence. Your family wasn't there sleeping on that kiosk floor. You were. You were the one suffering, babe. Let them help him if they are so concerned. Just keep winning. You are doing amazing. You are not the asshole in this situation, babes. Now let me hear your thoughts down below. Is she the asshole? Should she help her brother? Leave your comments down below. And now, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. And if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe and like this video. And don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Okay, I'm done. Bye.